More than dining, Trio is an experience. So when you come to Trio, you're expecting to see something new, something vibrant, something that it changes the way you think about eating.
In the bottom of the glass is a puree of chestnut, and then that's got a warm bacon consommé.
We actually subtly suggest how to eat our food, how to actually perceive our food, because it's so avant-garde. Some of the thoughts that the chef is putting together the food wouldn't be picked up.
This generation of young cooks that we have in this restaurant, this is the way we look at things. This is the way we process them. And what comes out is an expression of ourselves. We usually have an objective and work backwards, especially with a tasting style format where everything has to fit like a puzzle from top to bottom. Otherwise, the entire experience doesn't make sense.
Grant's Food, it is not a singular dish that composes this experience. It is a number of courses that take you through a progression of flavors and textures and build your way through a total dining experience.
So Rick, Trio is in its 10th year, yet it's more popular than ever. Tell us why you think this place is so special.
I love this restaurant. I think it's just a fabulous place. I think it's a place where you go and have a sort of a culinary journey through tastes and textures and incredible flavors and combination of ingredients. I think it's just a really fantastic place. I think the chef, Grant Achatz, is a genius. You start off with a chestnut puree that has quince and bacon, like a bacon gelée, and then potato ice cream, and this combination of flavors and textures and temperatures.
Well, Dr. Black, were you surprised with your culinary adventure?
I was surprised. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And the reason, maybe it's my personality or what I think, but I've been to prefix menus, and I like those because it gives the chef the ability to really compose a meal for you. What I mean by compose a meal, he can start off like a Mozart piece, where in the beginning, everything is, you start off very slowly and you build up to this denouement that's wonderful, and it has a theme and things like that. I didn't find that at Trio. I thought it was not a crescendo for me. It was more, the Mozart. It's changed from the Mozart off to the Schoenberg, where it's like a lot of discordant, but everything was hitting you all the time.
Oh, that's interesting. For me, the evening just gets better and better and better till you finish with this amazing chocolate soup with shards of Parmesan, with quinoa, and I think the flavors are really, really great.
Well, I agree with you that each of the courses in and of themselves is wonderful, but I didn't get the sense of a common theme going through everything. I didn't get a sense that, I'm going to start down here and we're going to take this journey and we're going to end up here. I thought we were up here all the time.
I didn't think that there was a common theme, and I liked that because I went with two friends, and the entire time we're sitting there and you finish with one thing and you can't wait to see what's going to come out next because you have no idea. It could be anything, absolutely anything. And I felt that everything that came out was just this complete experience, just of the senses, of fragrances, of the way it looked, the way it tasted, especially the pear and the gelatin. It looked so simple, and then you take the bite, and first you taste the pear, and then you feel the gelatin, and then was that eucalyptus, and just the olive oil, everything just kind of explodes in your mouth. It was one flavor after another.
And they do this amazing thing. I love that they do these ragouts, or this time I think it was a pheasant ragout, with the autumnal aromatics around the outside. So it really is, it's sort of an event for all your senses. I mean,
describe this autumnal.
Oh, it's fabulous. It's fabulous.
I almost cried. I almost cried.
So, this was different preparations of pheasant. And then in the outer bowl, there was pumpkin and pumpkin seeds and clover hay and a couple
leaves.
You're not eating this, are you?
No, and then what they do is they pour boiling water over those things in the outer bowl so that you smell all of these autumnal smells.
So it's like a vapor?
Yeah, so it's like a little walk in the forest while you're eating your
absolutely.
pheasant. It's so fabulous.
I can tell you as a sommelier, the food, as I know the food at Trio, would be very difficult to pair, and the sommelier Joe Catterson has been acknowledged several times for doing a phenomenal job. Rick, how do you enjoy Joe's wine pairings?
I think they're incredible. I think they at times make the food sort of explode in your mouth, which is, what they're supposed to do, or there's a subtlety in the wine that just perfectly complements.
So you enjoy his pairings?
Oh, I think the pairings are really great.
Now, Dr. Black, I know you're a big wine fanatic.
I'm a fanatic. I enjoyed the pairings in general. I thought that they were very perfect for each course. The thing I did not like was having sake as my first course for my pairing. For me, my palate, sake is just too strong, and it just kills a lot of the other wines that have been there. And so I would have preferred to have that later on, if he was going to have a sake later on, maybe just before the reds, but not if I'm going to have champagne and another white before him, because it's such, relatively speaking, it's a strong drink.
Now, Trio, I mean, it's not inexpensive. I mean, this is definitely a chunk of change. Now, Rick, do you think it's worth the money that you spend there?
I do. I think that when you go there, it's sophisticated, but I think it's unpretentious. I think it's upscale, but not uppity. But I think that if you are into food and you're into fine dining and sort of exploring, I think that it is well worth it.
Well, Kelly, for you, if you're going to spend this much money, what has to take place for you in a dining environment?
For this kind of money, it definitely has to be, because you're paying for the experience. You're paying for just the onslaught of just the senses, just the visual, the aromas, the taste. I mean, it's such a complete unique experience. And afterwards, my friends and I that I went with, we're not millionaires. We don't make a lot of money. And afterwards, we're sitting in the car and we're kind of looking at each other, saying, was this worth it? To spend this money? And we're looking around each other like, yeah, it kind of was.
It was worth it for you.
It was amazing. It was for me, maybe a once-in-a-lifetime experience, unless it's an extremely special occasion.
Well, Rick, you picked Trio. Give us your summary.
I think if you are celebrating a special occasion and you want a truly fine dining experience that will be a journey through amazing culinary, tastes and textures and just a wonderful experience, Trio is your place.
And Kelly?
I would go back. I'd recommend it to people, but make sure it's worth it. Save your pennies, and you'll have a great experience.
Dr. Black?
Well, as I said, I wasn't as thrilled as you two about it, and maybe I should try it again. But right now, I don't think I'd go back.
Well, you can have the prefix dinner at Trio, 1625 Hinman Avenue, 847-733-8746. They're open for dinner Wednesday through Sunday. Reservations are highly recommended, and the average tab per person without Joe Catterson's wine pairings are about $120 per person.